It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. I cannot believe this late in the game I'm still having this conversation, but I'm going to do it again anyway. So, I had someone in a class just over the past couple of weeks, no lie, tell me that, quote, their Agile coach that they brought in told them that one of the benefits of embracing Agile was that you don't need to do any documentation. You could just forget about it. Agile doesn't have to have documentation. The backlog becomes the documentation. You don't need to document anything. Ouch. One of the things that we're quickly discovering about Agile or any other process related framework is that if you don't have some type of system of record, some type of quality management, some type of lead-in document to help you understand the vision and strategy, something in writing that helps people who are new that on board, there's nothing worse than, and I'm going to start with a little story. So I had a gentleman who was in one of my classes, and he told me that this was day 3 for him at his company, and they had already sent him to this class. My first impression, that's impressive that they were willing to invest so much in him attending this class so that he could become certified on day 3 of his career. Okay. But the second message that came to my mind was, when he said, so I asked him, how was his onboarding experience with this company? Because the company that I was doing the training for, I knew very well. I had done a lot of trainings for them. And he kind of looked at me with a scowl on his face or a little bit of sadness. And he says, there was no onboarding experience. So what do you mean? He says, I got to a little desk and they had a gift bag with some tchotchkes in it. He said, but, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing or who I'm supposed to be talking to or what the next steps are or when the meetings are and where they take place. I'm like, are you kidding me? What he was telling me is that there was a company I had a lot of respect for that really left him on an island, stranded, when it came to, Agile and what he was supposed to be doing and how he was supposed to be interacting. And in the same class was someone else who, from a different organization, who said, hey, our coach told us no documentation. And I about lost it. I couldn't help it. I got really, really upset. And it wasn't like angry upset where I was yelling, but it was just one of those things where I was like, my mind is blown. I don't know what to tell you. Because the truth is, if we have Agile without documentation, we don't have Agile. I'll say it again. If we have Agile with no documentation, you don't have Agile. The only way you can ever document critical information or figure things out the way that things are supposed to be positioned or plan for the future, or I could go down the list with you, have quality management. Without proper documentation, you get none of those things. Now, if this said Agile means no excessive documentation or unwarranted documentation, I would wholeheartedly agree and support that culture. But I think that we need to get past this culture of no documentation and understand that it's deeply rooted in the fact that over time we've had heavyweight project management that required, forms in triplicate that we're trying to reduce down to something that's simplified. So I guess my message here is everything in Agile is about a pendulum. And if the pendulum swings too far in one direction, it's going to be dangerous. If it swings too far in the other direction, it's going to be dangerous. In this case, with regard to documentation, instead of coming in with the theory of Agile requires heavy laden documentation or heavy meetings, or coming in with the thought that Agile requires no documentation and no meetings, you need to meet somewhere in the middle. Find that Goldilocks principle and make this successful. All right, short and sweet. I hope that you're having an amazing week. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, feel free to reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.